this.
Yeah, you might too. Mr. Beck, do you have any reading glasses? Do you have any extra reading glasses?
No, we're good.
There's some more seats along the side
No,
over here.
no.
You're welcome to sit at the table.
I can steal something.
No, we're-
Or right here.
That'd be very stylish.
yeah, no.
Or maybe take with some glitter.
I'll just, zoom it on.
Kevin, there are some chairs up here if you want to sit.
I'm gonna sit all day.
Sounds great.
Juliana, John, I have 2 chairs over here if you want, but there's the agenda if you want to pick up or if you want to talk first. Accept your chairs over here.
Still smiling.
I know, unless like I'm ready for it.
He's actually from West.
And I don't. Yeah, just mine was, I knew what it was. I think that's very helpful.
Okay, I will call this meeting to order. If we can all stand and face the flag and put a pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the agenda,
Make a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
motion by Matthew McNally, is that you, Evan?
Yes.
Second by Roger Arian, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, before we start citizens forum, I just want to let you know that you can get up and say what you would like. We cannot make any comments on it, and we can't answer any questions that you have. You are just basically stating what you have on your mind. So I guess we'll start with Jackie Erickson. Yes? Okay, the floor is yours.
Can I say something?
Huh?
Can I say something?
You can stay sitting,
Cool,
yes.
thank you. Just to give everybody a heads up, I live in Arkdale, so I'm not allowed to, I couldn't vote on the referendum, just so that is that taken care of. I am a bus driver for this district. I've been driving for 21 years, and this is probably the best one I've ever before. New parents, that are, some of them are here tonight, that are on my route, are beyond awesome. Can't say enough about them. My ground were questions or concerns is for what's coming up for transportation budget, whatever. I know one of the things that was brought up was possibly doing group stops out in the outlying area. My question is, has the board looked at the horrific criminals that are on our bus routes? Have you decided where you want these children dropped off and picked up? There's no shelter, there's no supervision, there's no safety for these kids. They can't run back into their house saying, Mom, there's something out there. There's no safety. I think that's number one in this, for our area. Not lost. I would go there, trying to be calm because we have children here. Sorry, I keep reaching for you. There's 22 listed in this zip code alone. There's 14 in the country. The other 8 are in the city limits. I don't mean to scare people, but I belong to a group that helps abuse and neglect kids. I see what these people do to these kids. It is not good. Next thing is the school's liability. You guys pick up, or you want us to pick up and drop off in certain areas. It makes you 100% liable. Anything happens to one of those kids that's not on their own home property. So that's a risk you guys are taking by having us go to designated areas. Parents, this is the ones I feel bad for. Don't they gotta be working at 6 o'clock? How their kids gonna get to the drop off? That's where things could go bad for the school district. Parent works in Elizabeth. Okay, I keep reaching for, just hit me if I slip, okay? Okay. Parent works in Elizabeth. I'm just gonna take my kid to school. Whatever. That's money you're losing because we're not transporting. They're going to school, or they're going to work in Elizabeth. I'm just gonna take my child and transport them to Elizabeth school because I work over there. I'll drop them off and then I'll pick them up and bring them back home. There's more money the school district is losing because you lost that child. So, you've also talked about the 2-mile radius from school. The state statute, so you guys, that's a given. Disassembling bus routes, shortening bus routes. Yeah, by half an hour. We still have to go clear out that way, farther up north. We still have to go east. It doesn't really save that much time. Because we still have to come in, and we still have to go get these kids. And then we have to sit there and wait and hope that the parents are gonna show up. Are you gonna have somebody in the office at 6 a.m. or 6:30 every morning to answer phone calls when parents start calling and say, I'm running 10 minutes late, have the bus wait. Or little Joey needs to go to little Susie's house. You're gonna have somebody in the office, because right now there's not at 6:30 in the morning. So that's where I'm at. Oh, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Janice? Yes?
I have a question. You guys are all elected by us townspeople, people for pay. You guys all get paid for being on the school board, right? Why don't you put that pay back into the fund and just do the thing you're supposed to be doing to help these students? And these teachers that actually teach these kids. You start cutting teachers, you're gonna have a lot of kids gonna be falling way, way behind. And I know you've already got it. And is that gonna be a good choice for any of these students coming up? It's not. Then all you got all these sports teams. What have they actually been doing the last few years as winning as a team and actually doing something for this school? Football team hasn't been, baseball team hasn't been, basketball team, all these teams. Only thing I've seen come into play is a powerlifting team. They've gone to national how many times? Gone to state how many times? How many times is football not going to state? Think about it. You put all the funds into these, but you don't put no funds into the damn powerlifting. Pardon my language. But it's true. These kids have to get their own funding for everything they do for powerlifting. But football and all that is all funded. Why? That makes no sense whatsoever. If you're gonna fund a sports team, fund them all, not just a certain few. Give these kids a chance to learn something, to make themselves better, and to educate these kids. Don't cut teachers for that. It's not worth it. You're gonna be losing a lot of kids to other schools otherwise, and that's not a good thing. Not a good thing. I grew up in a small school district with 4 high schools, and every one of those high schools were up in par. Every one of them. 4 high schools. Everyone were funded to the T. 7 middle schools, 12 elementary schools. Our district was bigger than this. Our county was bigger than this. Nothing was ever cut from anything when I was in that school, nothing. Because it was the education of these kids, and that's what the important thing is. Keep the teachers, educate these kids. You guys should take all your pay, put it back into the fund. Simple as that.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else that would like to say anything? Okay, well, thank you very much. I appreciate you guys talking out. Okay, approval of the minutes of regular board meeting, Monday, May 16th, 2026, special board meeting.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by John Iyer, second by Mike Hort. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Special board meeting of March 25th, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Roger Harriman, second by John Ard. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Special board meeting, April 13th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mike Hort, second by Roger Harriman. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of vouchers and EFTs, Roger?
I'll make a motion to approve vouchers 86402 through 425 and 86427 through 462. Funds transfers from 2025, 311, 325 through 332, 334, 336, 352 through 354, 356 through 360, 363 through 374, 376 through 397, 399 through 401, and then 200, 2026, 171 through 174, 179 through 199, and 202 through 205.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Roger Harris, second by Matthew McNally, for all vouchers and EFTs as stated. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, now we will reorganize the board. I need Matthew and John to step forward, please. please.
I, John Hart, have been elected or appointed to serve office of school board. Swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin. And I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of said office to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. And we'll need you to sign those and we'll hand them to you. All right, the first office will be the president. Do I hear any nominations on the table?
I make a motion to nominate Mike Moore for president.
Do you need a second for nominations?
Technically, no, but if you want a second, you can.
Second.
Okay, motion by Matthew McNally, second by John Ard for nomination of Mike Hork as the president. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
You actually have to vote on.
Vote.
Yeah,
Yes,
that was
sorry.
just for the nomination, so if there's no other nominations, then we would now vote.
Okay.
For that.
Roger.
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Matthew?
Yes.
Yes for me. Okay. Michael, I think you sit in this chair now.
Well, I'll stay right here.
Okay.
Next up, I would like a nomination for the office of vice president. Any nominations?
I nominate John Ard.
I'll second.
So nomination, are there any other nominations? So, motion by, was it, you, John, or Roger?
I'm making a motion.
Matthew, second by Roger, for the nomination for John Ard for vice president. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Also, we'll cast a vote for vice president office.
Yes.
Mr. Harriet, Mr. Ard,
Yes.
yes for me.
Yes.
Mr. McMahon, Mr. Buchan.
Yes.
Okay, motion approved. John Ard is now vice president. Nomination for the office of clerk.
Nominate Matthew McNally.
I'll second the nomination.
Motion by Roger, second by John to nominate Matthew McNally for office of clerk. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yes vote for office of clerk. Roger?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes for me.
Yes.
Yes.
5 yeses. Matthew, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Motion for office of treasurer. Any nominations?
Roger, nominate Roger Harris.
I'll second.
Motion by John, second by Matthew to nominate Roger. Any other nominations? All those in favor?
Aye.
So yes vote for Roger for treasurer. John?
Yes.
Yes for me.
Yes.
And yes.
5 yes. Motion carried. Next, we have CISA 5 Annual Convention Representative.
So,
John?
I'll second.
So you nominated yourself, John?
Yes.
Okay. So motion by John, second by Roger, to appoint John Ard as our CISA 5 Annual Convention Representative. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? John, welcome to the annual convention. Next up is the WASB representative. Do I hear a nomination for that position? I think Dan, we did that in the past.
I did it.
You did it last
Yes, you
year?
did it, yep.
Matthew, it sounds like you did a bang-up job, so I nominate Matthew as our representative.
Thanks.
Motion by Horak, second by John to approve Matthew McNally as WASB representative. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a list of board meeting dates for 2026-27. Is there any discussion or any changes based on the list?
Yes, I would like to move the October 5th meeting to that Thursday, please.
Mm-hmm.
8th.
October the 8th.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Any motion for that?
Yes, we do. So Matthew, you wanted to amend that so that we change
Yes.
that to the 8th of October. So we have motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Ard to approve the board meeting dates with the change. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. The board has committee assignments, and I don't know if there's been any changes that any board member would like to make at this time.
Is Dan here?
Well, he will be, but once he resigns, then obviously the next
Okay.
board member will probably fill some of those positions.
Okay.
So,
I'm good.
I'll make a motion to accept as is.
okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Harriet to approve the committee assignments as listed. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have our student leadership will share their project with us.
Actually, we have one more. I would like to add another advisory committee. That is an athletic and activities committee. It's in the,
So I don't see that on the agenda here.
It's under the number 4.
so,
Oh, I
I
missed
don't think
that.
it requires a motion,
Sorry.
but if we want to add it in there and you guys want to discuss it, we certainly could, but it doesn't require a motion. We'll just add it to the committee list if the board would like to do that.
Okay. Is there, the board have any discussion on this committee?
What's the name of the committee?
it would be an athletic and activities. I would like to be on the committee.
So to hear John and Anthony.
We probably will be reorganizing committees once we have new board members as well. So, but we'll get that list together and maybe approve that at the next board meeting. So, all right, now I think we're ready for our student leadership.
So tonight, I have Jackson Kelder, one of our 8th graders, and Keelan Stutzman, one of our 7th graders here. They had planned to present in February where there would be a few less people, but here we are. So one of our graduate profile pillars is communication, so folks, you get to test that tonight. We consistently look for different ways that we can get kids leadership opportunities, and through a grant that we had, we were able to provide an opportunity for our middle school and high school students back in November to kind of go through a student-led problem-solving workshop over at the Lodge in Boston. And so we had 2 presenters come in and kind of led the kids through a scenario where they were trying to identify issues and concerns they had with school, and then what are some things that they could do, to fix that problem. And so we had 11 middle schoolers, 7th and 8th graders who came together that day, and then have been meeting on an ongoing basis since to kind of when they have free time or when they have time available to me to discuss things that they want to accomplish. And so I'm going to let Kaylin and Jackson talk a little bit about their experience at the workshop, and then talk about what their group is working towards right now. So Kaylin and Jackson, you want to just talk through things a little bit?
I would say at the lodge, we kind of like worked as a group to find like problems that we had at school and what we thought we could do to like, help fix those problems in the middle of school. And the main idea that we thought of was like bullying and mental health. Because one of our high schoolers did a survey, and for bullying and mental health, they got like the same percentage for the same amount of people that had problems with bullying and mental health. So we thought of an idea as a group to do like we would make like a locker and like kind of like decorate it if we could, and like be able to like make notes for the kids to like put in that locker to like say like if they saw bullying or if they got bullied, like we could help with that. And like Miss Moore, our counselor, she like if she needed to, she could help with that if they needed help. And so that's what we covered out like our leadership program.
We are just a group of middle schoolers who want to make a difference in the community. A lot of people have dealt with a lot of bullying in our school, and it's very difficult for them to speak out and really say what they're going through and what they can do to speak out. It's very hard to just find an outside help. So we, me, Allison, Amara, Ava, Aurora, Kaylin, Macy, Eli, Colin, me, Sully, and Trey just want to help out our students. We want to accomplish that students can feel open to speak out and really get help for what they're dealing with. This is very important because I've experienced bullying. It's not fun. I wouldn't want anyone to experience bullying and deal with it alone. And I hate to just not be able to do anything about it. But with this opportunity and our group right now, we hope that sometime in the near future that we can actually make a difference.
So Jackson, Kaylin, what are some things that you are working on besides this, because you also did a presentation to the middle school kids in Connect, and then you're also working on some videos and things like that. Can you talk about that a little bit?
When we presented to the school, we got a lot of good reviews. We got a lot of questions, a lot of people who wanted to join the program and help out because they also care for each other. We have made educational videos, we have made bullet points and slide presentations so that we can voice out our cause.
And as a group, we made those videos and based on our past experiences, we made those videos based on how we felt and how other kids did, which is our main.
We wanted to be able to tap all of the ways of bullying that could happen, because it's more than just one than the traditional punchy stuff in lockers. There's a lot of different types of bullying that aren't really recognized, like cyberbullying. A lot of people nowadays in middle school and high school have technology, and they can't really do anything to stop it because once it's out there, they don't really have anyone to go to, and they're scared to talk to their parents, depending on their housing situation. And then there's mental bullying, like words that hurt, that maybe the bulliers don't really know what they're doing. Because sometimes they can be like, oh yeah, I'm just teasing with you, when they feel something more, that they're actually hurt and don't feel great. but they can't talk to that bully because they'll like be looked down on and like considered emotional and stuff like that. We just want to be able to let people talk about what they're feeling. A lot of our members couldn't show up today because they had personal stuff to go on, which is why it's just us two here. We got a lot of good reviews on it.
Anybody on board have any questions?
Thank you. This is very important. Thank you.
So one of the reasons we had seventh and eighth graders is because we wanted to make sure that the work that the kids are doing continues to get passed down. And so I think that's part of the kids' goal is, either at the end of the school year or right away in the beginning of next year is, having conversations with, now sixth graders or in the fall, seventh graders and getting, those kids on board with some of the ideas for the work that they're doing to continue. Because if they found it's a slow process sometimes, particularly when, these folks are juggling, different, sports and other things that they're doing outside of school, in their community and keeping all their, grades and keeping all the stuff, things going and stuff, and a lot of balls you gotta juggle up in the air. So, we appreciate you guys coming and taking the time to do that.
Are you thinking of bringing this to high school with you and starting this in high school as well?
I'd like to.
Yeah,
I'd love to do this in high school because it's not just middle school. Middle school, you're just kind of going up and learning communication skills and timing stuff and all the stuff that you want to do. But high school is the real deal.
Yeah, and I feel like I would also like to carry it into high school because I feel like when you get into high school, it gets a lot worse at times. It can be a lot worse.
Me being a freshman next year is very scary because I don't really know anyone, and I feel like when I was in sixth grade and seventh grade, did we have the program?
No, it was the first year. Yeah.
Back then, a lot of eighth graders, now freshmen, were very mean. They didn't care for really anyone. They were self-centered, had their own little bubble, and didn't really appreciate people younger than them. They just thought of them as just kind of obstacles or just people there. And now that we have this program, and in the future, we can have people, and in maybe high school, we could have people who are actually excited to grow up and do stuff in the future and be scared of being bullied or harassed, and they can just be happy.
Keep up the good work. And you know what? Why don't you come back and maybe next year and have another presentation if you like.
Yeah.
This is good stuff. So,
I'd love to do this in high school, group of freshmen and sophomores. There's a lot of good people in our school. We just need to pinpoint them and get them in a group.
Good job.
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you.
Good job.
I just want to add that, so Mr. Becker mentioned it, and I don't know if it went over a lot of people's heads, but part of our graduate profile, the thing that our community has said is important is communication. And our state test does not assess the things you just heard. Kids getting up in front of their whole school and sharing information, kids deciding to do a project together and collaborating and planning it out, kids sticking up for one another and being empathetic and kind to one another. None of the testing information assesses that, and our school community said this is what's important to us. We did that through a huge collaborative process. So for our kids to be modeling all of that in such powerful ways is very impressive. So good job, you guys. I'm so very proud of you. Keep up the good work. Your leadership matters.
presentation?
They're gonna table it, yeah.
This next, we have summer school 26, providing an update on summer school.
Yeah, the link in there is for elementary program, so we would propose the same as a 20-day program, full-day program for our elementary students. Academic mornings that are grade level based, including intervention, special education services. Act 20, the reading act that we were talking about, will in the next years require intensive services be offered at summer school. We already do offer more than what a lot of schools do for intensive services for summer school. So our proposal is to keep that up and kind of look at how many people are taking advantage of those specific things so that when we need to have that in place in the next coming summers, we'll have a good idea of what that looks like. But our summer school proposal would be to run June 8th through July 3rd. That gives us 20 days of summer school. I've already put out a survey to elementary staff. I have more than enough. I always like to give a shout out to my staff. Some schools around cannot run summer school at all because they don't have enough staff who volunteer to work this summer. I have the opposite problem. I have more staff that are volunteering to work summer than when I have kids sign up for summer sometimes. So I always appreciate my staff for spending part of their summer doing that too. So that's a proposal is a similar makeup of what's been going in the last couple of years. Last year we did try to split like 2 weeks in June, 2 weeks in July. It didn't go over great. Our attendance in July was not anything to write home about, so we went back to the 20 straight days.
So at the middle school high school level, it'd be very similar. We'd have programming on the same days. We would have remedial intervention services for kids and also credit recovery pieces that we've had in the past. Additionally, we also try to fit in, having weightlifting times for kids and workout times in the morning and the afternoon, and Mr. Smith and Mr. Mock facilitate that with kids, so we run the same days doing very similar programming.
So do I hear a motion to approve the 2026 summer school program?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 summer school program.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Matthew McNally, to approve the 2026 summer school program. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have approved reduction of transportation for summer school students.
I'll make a motion to approve the reduction of transportation for summer school students.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Harriet, to approve the reduction of transportation for summer school students. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next is our pupil services report.
So I would suggest that we table the next two items. Mr. Sherwood had a child care family emergency, so he's not able to be here. And you have the reports, but I think we should just be able to ask some questions of him and highlight a few things of those reports.
So do I hear a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table those two agenda items.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Ard, to table items E and F. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next is our ELA curriculum adoption.
So I shared with you kind of the whole process our elementary has been going through to adapt an ELA curriculum. And it's been a long process. If you look at the board packet, you'll see, a lengthy discussion, planning, piloting, research from the pilot. There was a lot of planning, checking, and doing that was taking place. As a result of all of that work, as they worked with CISA 5, they have made their decision. This is all part of the requirement of Act 20. This does require us to purchase a curriculum. The reason we're prioritizing this right now, even though we have budget reductions, is this is the only year we can get a kickback from the state of 50%. So we feel the time is now to make this change. So Amplify is the resources that we would like to approve. And I shared with you a link to kind of the quote and that process, but tonight it would be important for us to approve that as our curriculum and resources so we can move forward. We would anticipate about a $70,000 cost associated with this purchase. When we get the final quote, we'll certainly share it with you. Because right now we're really trying to fine tune exactly what we should go with in terms of numbers and those sorts of things. So Jessica McCracken is working closely with Amplify to get all of the details ironed out. And as soon as we get that final quote, we will get that submitted for reimbursement for next year.
Do I hear a motion for adoption?
I'll make a motion to adopt the ELA curriculum.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Art, second by Mr. Harriet to approve the adoption of Amplify as the district's ELA pre-kindergarten through fifth curriculum and resource. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carried. Budget reductions, 2026 through 27.
So the first thing that I want to go through is just kind of the scenario that got us to where we're at, so we're all clear on why we're in this position and why we've been in this place now after a year-long strategy and discussion, why we're in this place now of making these reductions. So I brought a couple of visuals to help remind us. There are really two issues that are primarily responsible for the district, the funding concerns that we have within our Necedah school district. The first one is we have a 10-year deficit of over $13 million in 10 years that we have been underfunded by the state of Wisconsin. That means that every year we're underfunded by $1 million. This last year was $1.4 million. And that money comes out of our general operational budget. It means that $1.4 million was not funded by the state. So this piece is a huge piece when you consider our last operational referendum was $950,000. We were underfunded by $1.4 million. That operational budget went fully to fund unaided costs of special education. Those are mandated legal services we have to offer children. The costs of those services have skyrocketed over the last decade. So right now, we cannot legally make any reductions in special education costs. It's illegal. You cannot make reductions on the back of children with disabilities. That is in a federal law. So as we make reductions, this piece cannot be touched, and we will continue to have $1.4 million because we can't make reductions. We get about 35 cents on the dollar in reimbursement for special education costs. We will be underfunded again by $1.4 million. So without that $950,000 that we've had for 4 years, which we don't have now, you can anticipate we're going to be underfunded by about $2,500,000. Our referendum that we had asked for was $1.2 million. So when people tell us balance your budget, we've had no choice. We're not getting even enough in operational referenda to balance the budget. We have to make hard choices all the time because we're not getting funded for special education costs. We have a population of about 21% in our school, which is above the state average of about 15% right now we're at. So those costs are not going away. As a matter of fact, most are getting more and more expensive. The second piece of the puzzle that is part of our story is the inflationary increases stopped about 17 years ago. We'll be going into the 18th year. Now, some will argue saying that you have had inflation. There's people that say you've had those increases. We have on the backs of our local taxpayers who passed the operational referendum. So yeah, you can say we've had inflationary increases, but it's not because of the state. It's because of our local taxpayers said we're supporting our schools. That's why we've had inflationary increases. The state has not provided that. So our local taxpayers have picked up that 100% through operational referenda. 100%. If we would have had incremental annual inflationary increases, we would have had $2,365,000 more in the budget this year for 25-26 than we currently have. We asked for $1.2 million. We would never have to go to an operational referenda if we would have had annual incremental increases. So when people say, well, how much money does it actually take to educate kids? Fund our special education needs and fund inflationary increases yearly. That would meet our needs. And I can tell you exactly how much money that would be. We did not ask for that on the referendum. We didn't even come close to it. So these two pieces are a part of our puzzle. The last piece is our board made a very deliberate decision on making a solution of the operational referendum, but yet carrying a long-term strategy of taxpayer advocacy and also litigation. Those two things were intentional to try to stop the reliance on operational referendum. That is not the way we should be funding schools. There's a lot of nuances that happen because of the district we're in and the high property values that are unjust to Necedah, as well as some other districts. There are other districts not unlike us, but they certainly have some of the nuances of, because we have high property value, we are picking up a larger burden of that revenue limit in that second one there. We're picking up 80% of the capped revenue that we can bring in the district. It's capped. So when you think about 80%, our local taxpayers are picking up that 80%, the state is picking up 20. The cap remains the same. So people say, well, you have to be getting more money, my taxes went up. No, the state didn't pick up any more funding and put in their portion, and that goes to the burden on taxpayers. So the revenue doesn't change. But the burden of who's paying for that revenue cap has been shifted from the state to the taxpayers. We shifted from 60%, they went to 70%, now our taxpayers are paying 80%. It doesn't change the revenue cap, it changes who's responsible for that. So our taxpayer advocacy work and our litigation is because that formula does not work for our citizens and our taxpayers. And we have got to change that at the state level because it's all legislated. All of this is legislated. If we don't get to the Capitol and try to help them understand the issues we're faced with fixed and low income residents and high property value, that frankly, most of those residents, it is not their primary residence. If we don't fix that, we will continue to be in the place that we're just in, and we will continue to have nights like we're having tonight. That's our story. So it is very important for people to become educated on this background. Because we have got to lock arms and start advocating for our Necedah taxpayers. This has got to change. And it's not going to change without the voice of the electors at the state capitol. I have spoken at since I've been in this position, budget hearings. We have written resolutions to our local legislators. We have passed resolutions at the board level. We have written letters of support with certain things. None of it has made a difference. What will make a difference is the voice of the voter. And that's that taxpayer advocacy work that has to make a difference, because nothing else has made a difference. And that's why our board felt passionate about going to litigation, because nothing we have done thus far in the last 10 years has made a difference. So here we are this evening. without passing that referendum. We lost $950,000. That didn't include inflation, because remember, the 950 ends this year. The 1.2 was taking place of the 950. So the minor increase is why there was such a minimal increase on taxes. Because we already had 950, we renewed the 950 and simply added it to get the 1,200,000. So we have to reduce $1 million. And that's where we're at. So $1 million is no chump change. When I hear about refusing the board salary, we're talking peanuts. And I don't mean to disrespect the input, I appreciate that. But it's peanuts when you're coming up with $1 million. This will impact the livelihood of people, because almost 80%, 75% of our budget is people, because we work with kids, we work in education, that's our business. And there's gonna be definitely sacrifices made across the board. So we have some hard decisions to make tonight. We will be making some general approvals this evening. The board has met for hours upon hours to try to make these difficult decisions, as with our administrative team. So they will be doing some of those, but the people-specific reductions will not happen in open session for obvious reasons. Those people deserve to hear from us before the public knows that they have lost their job. So for obvious reasons, we will not discuss individual layoffs in open session. So as we complete the current reductions, we will go into closed session and complete the rest. Any other discussion or input on the board before we get into board action items?
Not hearing any. First item, approve the transportation plan to include walking to school within 2 miles of school, and this would be for next year.
I'll make a motion to approve walking to school.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mr. Harriet, second by Mr. R, to approve the transportation plan to include walking to school if within 2 miles of school. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next item is approval of pickup locations for those in the village limits. If we have those locations.
Yes, so we're at 2 miles. This direction only is the first one that was just approved, goes to Highway 21. So children on this side of 21 to the school area are within that 2 miles. On the other side of 21, you still are within the village limits, within areas there. And that will be where some pickup locations are yet to be determined. I mean, none of this is going to roll out fast, because we need to get who's riding the buses, new kids are coming, other kids will be leaving. So as we hit summer, they'll be making much more details. But that's kind of the general locations, just to have an idea.
I'll make a motion to approve the pickup locations. Both in the village limits.
I'll second it.
Motion by Mr. Art, second by Mr. Harriet, to approve pickup locations yet to be determined for those in the village limits. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next is the approval for a 10% reduction in supply budget.
I'll make a motion to approve the 10% reduction in supply budget.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Harriet, to approve a 10% reduction in supply budget. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Motion in order to approve administrative salary freezes.
Make a motion to approve administrative salary freezes.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Art, second by Mr. Duchek, to approve administrative salary freezes. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Approval of refusal of salary for board members.
There was some. Cover that, right? So it's-
So there's a statute that governs this board action, and I want to make sure everybody has the statute and understands it. This would be an individual choice. The board action clarifies the option, but wouldn't clarify that this goes through until there's actually formal written statutory, process that comes along with this action. So the action that you would vote on tonight is simply the approving that this is definitely on the table, but individual board members, you all would have to submit individually within the year. If you request this, it would have to go to Mr. McNally and Mr. Harriet.
I'll make a motion to approve the refusal of salary for board members.
I'll second. Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Hoare to approve the refusal of salary for board members. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
One opposed? Motion is carried. Next is approval of the emission of a bus purchase for next year. So there will be a motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Duchek, second by Mr. Harriet, to remove the purchase of a bus for next year. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Next is the approval reduction in community outreach.
Make a motion to approve the reduction in community resource.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Harriet. Can you maybe just tell us what that community outreach looks like as far as what we're looking at reducing?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. So community outreach is a dedicated fund. The money in that Fund 80 cannot be used for any other purpose besides community type things. That's what that money is there for. That money funds our current SRO, which when we put money in there, we funded it for 2 years. So right now she's on year 1. And so we've talked about reduction of our SRO, but the money is already dedicated for next year. So that certainly is something we've discussed, but that money cannot be used for other things. We cannot transfer that into the general budget and use it for operational. So the reduction is in some of the outreach that we offer to our community in terms of classes. There's a class tonight. You see a bunch of cars out here. We probably have 30 people in a class tonight in our high school. We get 30 to 50 people at those classes. Those will be reductions, and they will only be offered as pay classes. People want to have them, they just need to pay to be a part of them. So that's the reduction that we're making for community outreach.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried.
I'm going to excuse myself for the meeting. I've got a meeting at 7 o'clock with the village board, so I will leave.
Thanks, Roger.
Okay.
I may come back.
Next item is approval reduction in counseling services.
Make a motion to approve the reduction of counseling services.
I'll second the motion.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by Mr. Ard to approve reduction in counseling services. Any discussion?
So just to be clear, they are school counselors, we're not reducing, we need to have those in place. But this would be our external counselors that come in that we pay for to provide family and child counseling. This would be Mr. Gasser specifically, he's a perfect example. We would not have his services.
So any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Next agenda item is resignations and hiring. First, we have Amy Shealy.
Amy is retiring.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of Amy Sheedy.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. Hart, second by Mr. McNally to approve the retirement of Amy Shealy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next is Beth.
Beth is retiring as well, Ms. Hecht, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the retirement of Beth Hecht.
I'll second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Duchek, second by Mr. McNally to approve the retirement of Beth Hecht as our engaged charter school teacher. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have the resignation of Annabelle Peterson, our reading continuist.
I would approve the resignation of Annabelle Peters.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. R, second by Mr. McNally to approve the resignation of Annabelle Peterson. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have Mr. Dan Duchek. So Dan, on behalf of the School Board of Education, I would like to formally recognize and thank you for the years of service, 23 to be exact. I don't know if you knew that or not. To our school district. Your dedication, your volunteer time will be truly missed. I'm sure you might also miss some things here, like possibly the spring carnival when you have to manage the duck pond, all those smiling faces, probably all these kids probably saw you at the duck pond, I'm sure, at one time or another. And then, of course, emceeing at the annual banquet. I mean, how prestigious was that, right? So, you know, we wish you best wishes. And with that, I regretfully accept your resignation, Dan. So I so move to accept your resignation. And this will be following tonight's meeting, I believe.
Yes.
So second by Mr. Art. So motion by Mr. Horrick, second by Mr. R to regretfully accept Dan's resignation from the Board of Education. Any discussion?
I'd just like to add one more thing. We have a little memento for Mr. Duchek. It says, presented to Dan Duchek for your dedicated service to the children of Necedah Area School District, April 2003 to 2026. Proudly serving children for 23 years. So thank you for your service, Mr. Duchek.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next item. So, again, on behalf of the Board of Education, I would like to formally recognize them for your years of leadership here at Necedah. You've brought so many positive changes to our community. Your professionalism, vision, compassion, and community spirit has forever changed our school. Your accomplishments will lead us to great success in the future. With that, I regretfully accept your resignation at the end of this school year.
I'll second the approval of retirement of Tanya Kukowski.
Motion by Mr. Lark, second by Mr. McNally to accept Tanya's resignation at the end of this school year. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Hiring recommendations, there are none. Requests for leave, there are none. Support staff, there's one resignation.
We have Mary Richard, who has resigned as elementary paraprofessional. Mary has been with us a long time, so we certainly wish Mary the very best in retirement.
I'll make a motion to accept the resignation of Mary Riker.
I'll second. Motion by Mr. Ard, second by Mr. Harriet to approve the resignation of Mary Richard as our elementary paraprofessional. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have acceptance of donations and grants. We have none. And at this time, the board will entertain a motion to convene the closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85.
Not administrative.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we do.
Mark's gonna go first.
I already cried. So just a couple notes. We have Earth Day cleanup happening on April 23rd, which is this Thursday. So our high school students get 3 volunteer hours. Mrs. Pickerts and Mrs. Mosley, our science teachers, get the coordination together. So we have our students headed out to a variety of parks, Buckhorn, Castle Rock, Refuge, variety of places in town, to just clean up, make, and give something back to the community. So it's always a really great event, and our kids are excited, and staff are excited about that. We have the high school spring concert. I got 2 concert dates. We only have 1 concert. It's May 5th. Middle school, high school spring concerts happening on May 5th. And then our 7th graders are headed to the McKenzie Center. If my date's wrong on there, in the middle of May, they're going to be going to the McKenzie Center. And then we have graduation, 8th grade promotion happening. Graduation, seniors, is May 23rd. You need to be here at 9 a.m. Got it? 9 a.m. Okay, 9 a.m. on Saturday, May 23rd. And I have, for board members for that, I had John, I was hoping you would attend. And then there's a coin flip between Mike and Matthew.
for high school graduation.
Yep, Mike.
Yes.
You went here, so we were.
Yes. Oh, so you nominated me.
I did. But I was like, in case he said no, I would fill in, but.
No, that's fine.
And then we have 8th grade promotion on June 2nd, and I have Matthew for that.
Okay.
And then circling back, we have our honor ceremony on May 13th, Wednesday. I have the script in there. My assumption is that Mr. Horak is going to be taking over as lead on that.
I can do that. I'll never fill Dan's shoes.
And that's why there's a script.
It's just all the students' names that are so tricky sometimes, you know? Dan always does such a good job of pronouncing all those names.
So I have a script linked in here, but I'll once we finalize that, I'll share that out with you all. And if there's any requests in terms of academic letters, if you want to present on that, just let me know. Okay. Cardinal call-outs, I just want to share, we had, just to reiterate, our music program did amazing work at Soul Ensemble. We had 49 events, 57 students participated in Soul Ensemble, 13 events with 24 students qualified for state. We had 15 students participate in district forensics, and then I believe we had another 12 to 13 participate in state forensics. Mrs. Mosley put together our catapult competition with our sophomores, and we did amazing work with that. We had Brookwood come in for the day to have a little bit of a competition with our kids. We had some juniors and I think some seniors who came back and helped out with some of their expertise from it. So it's kind of a learning experience all around. So it was very cool. Our seniors came back from senior class trip to Milwaukee successfully. I want to thank Mr. Wilcox and Senora for their work in getting everything together for that. Amazing. We had 20 power lifters who participated in nationals in Omaha, Nebraska last week. It was, I got to watch the live stream with Mrs. Mock in here. It was very cool. And we had 10 students who came back with who placed in events over there. And I think we had 4 outright national champions. So kids did just amazing work. And Mr. Mock and Mrs. Mock, along with their volunteers, just did a fantastic job representing our school. Engage had their presentation night on Wednesday, April 8th. And again, they highlighted, student-led presentations. We had students doing live presentations, and all the students at Engage presented projects to our school community. So that was great work. Upcoming, we have our seniors next week are starting their exit presentations with our 8th graders. So I'll be notifying our 8th grade parents about that. And so everybody signed up and ready to go. Ms. Maddox has been working with our seniors on essays and their presentations to get any last second bumps out of there. But that's what I was talking to the kids about today was their role in our school community, because I think that when we initially put it together, our seniors were like, well, why do we have to do, it's like we're graduating, we got our credits, so why do we need to do this? And we talked about our graduate profile and volunteering and citizenship, and we talked about, in our graduate requirements, having, volunteer service be part of that. Our kids get volunteer hours for presenting to the 8th graders, because we see it as a real important part of our 8th graders moving into our high school. So we have students over here that are with us tonight that could share things about peer tutoring. They could share about youth apprenticeship. They could talk about supervised work experience. They could talk to the kids about balancing extracurricular activities and things with their schoolwork, and talk about the classes they thought they were going to take when they were freshmen, and what they thought they're going to do, and now where they're at right now, and let kids know that it's okay to have a different vision. It's okay to think you're going to be in one spot and realize I'm at a different place when I'm 18. And then it's also okay to be 18 and realize I'm not quite sure where I'm going here, but here's where I'm starting. And so I think the seniors play such a vital role with that. I just think that's a really cool part of our part of May. So I get to see all those exit presentations, and then we talk through those. But so that's really cool. So seniors, thank you for your work over the next 2 weeks, because it's really important for our school. One of the things I mentioned to them is many of the things that they do, I have never done, but I talk about. So when Mrs. Moore and I get together when we have our nights where we go through classes, we talk about opportunities and stuff like that. I myself have never taken an AP class. I've never had a supervised work experience. I've never been a peer tutor, but we talk about all these things. We talk about all the different things that they can do. And it's so important for our kids to hear them, because that makes a huge impact. So our 8th graders really appreciate in those things. So seniors, again, thank you very much for your work on that. And then our 8th graders at the end of May are going to be presenting to the 5th grade. So they talk about their middle school experience, and so they get to highlight their communication skills and talk about the struggles that they had, maybe when in 6th grade, and what they're planning on and thinking about as they go into high school. So again, that's another cool avenue for our kids to share their experiences and give back a little bit, have that camaraderie that kind of Jackson was talking about, having that, the older kids looking out for our younger kids. So that's really cool.
At the elementary, we have completed forward testing except for makeup, so grades 3, 4, and 5. I'll have to do forward testing. We spend over a month doing forward testing because we test our kids in small groups in short spurts of time, so we don't over test them. We want them to do their best at that. If you look at a school report card, the data that comes from math and reading is from that one test, that one day, that's it, one grade. Even though we test 3 grades, they only take the data from 1 to put on the school report card. So we try to put together a system that allows kids to do that in the most comfortable way. And so it takes us a long time to do and a lot of staff members to make that happen. So we are all done with forward testing except for makeups. The deadline for that is this Friday. So we will get everything completed before the week is done. That just has us start our next round of testing, which is the required benchmarks, as well as the Act 20 required testing. All of that is on a specific state mandated timeline. We only have a certain amount of time to complete the testing, certain amount of time to complete the reporting that goes with that, and put plans in place and updates to the plans, the students who are on reading plans because of that. So we will get started on all of those things. We completed our spring parent-teacher conferences. This is a new schedule for us at elementary. Since I've been here, we haven't had specific spring conferences. We've made a lot of changes. When I first came, we were like one day in early October. We talked about that's not really a great way to communicate progress to parents. So we now do our parent-teacher conferences first round in December. And then this year we added in an evening. We had to cancel them because it was a non-school day and got them rescheduled. But even with the reschedule, they were very well attended because it was a shorter block of time. There were not full slots open for all, and that's not really what it's intended for. It's really intended to talk to parents about what should you be focusing on for the summer, recommendations for summer school, and thinking about next year. Just kind of giving parents a good snapshot so that they know where their kid is entering to begin next school year. So that was good. We're in the middle of planning for our next family night, which is our showcase night on May 12th. This will be our 3rd year of showcase night. It's historically our best attended family night with over 50% of our families who show up, and it's over 60% of our students that come to that. And one of the reasons that is very well attended is because in all classes, even 1st grade, the kids are in charge of what they're going to showcase that night. So they are telling all of the adults, you need to come see what my owl poop project is, Ms. Mueller. They do something with owls in 1st grade. If you're wondering about what owl scat pellets is something, they wanted me to break one open, and I just it's like that's what I don't know. So if you're curious about that, come to our showcase night. That's on May 12th. The kids do a really great job. It's also a really low pressure one. Some parents are here for no more than 10, 15 minutes. They see their kid's project and then they can kind of head out. They don't have to stay for a really long time, but they are welcome to walk around to all of the different classrooms and see everyone's different things. Some teachers will do a specific project to showcase at showcase night. Some do here's where we started and here's where we end. So you see both different types at showcase night, and it's been a pretty successful thing for us to work through. A lot of upcoming field trips to a variety of places, some including just some fun places like Skate City, some parks, zoos, different things. All of that is funded, and thanks to our PAT team, our parent club, does all of the funding for field trips. That doesn't come from our budget at all. Our parents do fundraising for that besides the transportation costs. So we're very thankful to our parent club for allowing that. We don't charge any of our elementary kids any sort of admission or cost to go on field trips, so that every single one of them gets to participate. And we're very thankful to be able to offer that to all of our elementary. So we'll see a lot of those coming up. 4th grade invited me to go on a roller skating field trip. So of course I said, yes, I'll be out of the building roller skating, because how could I not? Going with them to do the roller skating. We're in the swing of reading plan revisions. As you know, K through 3, we're required to have reading plans for any student that tests below the 40th percentile in reading. We have a lot of them. In fact, there are some classes that more than 50%, 60%, 70% of the kids in the class have reading plans, which is a lot of work on the teachers. There's a lot of specific data collection that goes into place. I've talked about this a lot because it's a new thing. In theory, we really agree with giving kids intensive help in order to catch up, but the amount of paperwork that goes with the way that the state requires it is very burdensome to our teachers. So we do cardinal call out to all of the teachers and interventionists and paraprofessionals who are putting their time together to make sure that all of those things are in place. Students have to be probed every single week. A probe is a test. It might be a 1-minute test, but it's a one-on-one test. You need an adult one-on-one to do one of those. So when you have 18 kids with a reading plan in class, that takes more than 18 minutes to accomplish, which means we're not teaching during that 18 minutes if the teacher is doing those. So that is one of the downfalls. So working on revising those and seeing what we can do in summer school to help bridge some of those gaps. Students can only exit from the reading plan with a proficiency score on that forward exam in 3rd grade that we talked about, or getting over the 40th percentile in their aims. But both things have to happen. This Friday, we'll have Maggie Trenda from CISA 5 to do some more professional development with Act 20, a crosswalk with our Envision Charter School for their literacy requirements in regards to Act 20, and a decision if they'll need to come along with the curriculum adoption or if they'll be able to use the current curriculum they have and if they meet all of the requirements. There are 11 components that we have to meet in our curriculum in order to meet the state requirement of Act 20. So that is one of the reasons that we've taken this 2-year-long process to figure out how to best meet the needs of our kids with that. So on the staff side of it, we're starting a book study this week. Several staff members signed up for called Radical Respect by Kim Scott, really focusing on how do we as adults examine our biases and bring conversation to the table in working with teammates, making sure that we're looking at everything from every angle we possibly can, and also with working with kids. So I'm excited for the staff that signed up. Our staff members can lead book studies for points in their compensation plan. This one is led by me, and multiple staff members signed up for that. I've been working on planning next year's teams and rooms based on enrollment. As you know from the document that I shared in January with our enrollment numbers, our class sizes are hard. When we get just another 4 kids in a class size, it puts us over our AGR numbers, over what we typically do. 4 kids doesn't seem like a lot, but it is when you talk about just 1 grade level. So really trying to look at where can I best use the talents of the staff that we have to meet the needs of the kids in our school, and what teams work well with the needs of the kids that we have for that. Our summer PD will have an ELA focus because with adoption of a new curriculum, there will be some training that's required. So our teachers will be required to do spend some of their time in summer getting ready for that. We're currently working on gathering reports for Title I. We qualify school-wide in the elementary school for Title I services. So there's a lot of information to gather about that, including surveys from teachers, surveys from parents, discipline data, attendance data, intervention data, all of that. So shout out to Dawn Troop and Brenda Herkier and Annabelle Peterson, our interventionists, who are working on getting that data ready for our reports. They will report out, they always have to report out for parents, and they do that at a PAC meeting. And then our 4th and 5th grade spring concert was successful, very well attended. The house was packed for that. There was not really any chairs open, and our 4th and 5th graders did a really great job. It was a fun show. It's the Jukebox Time Machine that they presented, it's a repeat. So 4 years ago, kids did it, I think 4 years before that. But it's a repeat because it's one that people really enjoy. I think the main enjoyment that I hear is that it's like real songs that people know from the decades. And so that was really great. So shout out to Mrs. Jackson and Mr. Thies for wrangling 4th and 5th graders onto a stage to do a musical. It's not always the easiest to get them up there and all singing and dancing and not just saying 6, 7 all day. So great job. Yeah, the temperature today, just so everybody knows, before recess was 67 degrees. So that was really hard in elementary today. I also want to do a shout out to Mr. Lowry's class. They made gates to block off our playground road. So if you see that, we've got one over here, one over here. We use these big cones because our playground is 2 portions, which is separated by a road that people could drive through, which isn't really the safest thing. So we typically have to put out these big orange cones, and the cones have to get moved. So Mr. Lowry's class put together a gate. It was really nice. That's Necedah. and our maintenance crew, then shout out to them, they pounded it in the ground, and then after our windy day, are now going to be making some anchors on the other side. So they have an anchor to when they're open, but they did not have a plan to anchor them when they were closed. My husband assured me, it's not gonna go anywhere. It in fact did go places on that windy day. And so we anchored it open, so we didn't knock down any 4Kers, with a big gate. So, I really appreciate that they put those together, because I think it looks nice. It's better than the orange cones, and it's there. Some of our upcoming events, we had our PAT meeting today at 3:30. On May 1st is 5th grade Breakfast with Buddies. That's our last Breakfast with Buddies of the year. Those have been pretty successful. We had Envisions through 5, and I think maintenance, they set up for 110 people. There's 46 kids in that class, and there were not many chairs open at all. So Breakfast with Buddies is where they can invite anybody. It doesn't have to be a parent, it could be a neighbor, grandparent, aunt, uncle, and we just get to have some breakfast and do some activities, see the classroom. So the 5th grade is going last on May 1st. May 12th is our showcase night. Last day of school for early childhood 4K is May 14th. And then on May 18th, we have an ice cream social before the school board meeting. You're all invited for some ice cream, 5 p.m. That's for our students of the term. So every term our students, teachers nominate students of the term. We typically do an ice cream social in June. It's a little bit harder to get everybody there, so I'm moving to May. I'm gonna see how that goes to see if we can get more kids that are able to attend the ice cream social in May. Yeah.
I'm just going to mention a few funding things. I have drafted a letter to Congressman Tiffany regarding the Rural School Funding Act that went into place. It's a federal legislated funding mechanism that funds municipalities that have large amounts of taxable property in federal lands. So we have 44,000 acres in the refuge, and although it's not considered a federal forest, it is untaxable land. And so, as you will see, I linked the letter draft. I'm asking him to consider a modification to the current law that wildlife, fish, and game owned same federal lands that are non-taxable could be put into legislation for the same purposes of getting money put back to the counties in which those lands are located. So I just want the board aware of that. I don't know if it'll come to any fruition, but I think it's worth the advocacy because we have 44,000 acres in our district that's non-taxable, so it doesn't help our tax base. So I will get that drafted. If you have any input, just let me know. The other thing is we have the COPS grant, the SVPP grant. We had a $500,000 grant to outfit our doors electronically for safety. So with literally a push of a button, all of our interior doors will lock for our kids. So we've been working on various aspects of that grant this year to get the foundation set. I did currently withdraw that out of the budget for next year. We have 3 years to pay for that grant because we have a portion of it, of that 500,000 to also match. So our board will have some decisions to make in the coming couple of years, and I just want to put that on the plate so we don't forget to discuss that in 27, 28. Because if we want that $500,000 to be used, we would need to budget in 27, 28 the amount needed to do the matching part of that, which I think is under $100,000. I think it's about 78,000 or something. I don't quote me, but we need to decide how to make that happen if we want to. The other thing is FEMA grant funding came out again. We spent a lot of time as a board and team to try to figure out how to get that $4 million grant. Right when we were ready to submit, the funding was pulled. The funding has been put back in place. I did notify our grant advocate facilitator that we were not interested at this time because that also has a matching fund, and although it's a large grant, that would actually build a bus garage on property, which we're going to have to make decisions about that piece of property as well, but I don't think coming up and asking our voters to approve a capital referendum to support that, the timing isn't right. So I did tell them that. If you have input to that, please let me know. Linda Lowry provided an ASP report. Typically she presents. I told her I would share that report with you, so that is there. And we are also in the process of negotiating our copier services with 2 different vendors right now. So I will bring that to the table when we get to that decision. We're trying to get some decreases in costs to see if there are ways we could save some money on there. We probably can. It's not a big savings, but even a couple of $1,000 is worth the effort to try to see if we can save some money. So we're in the process of that, and I'll bring you guys that at the May meeting. And then last but not least, April 30th is our taxpayer advocacy meeting. It will be here at the school. All Juneau County schools, all 5 school districts are invited, and they are bringing their own teams. So we will have all 5 school districts represented at that taxpayer advocacy team meeting, and we will be discussing our strategy for how to connect with people at the state level to decide to work on some of the things that every school district in our county is faced with. I mean, we're all in the same boat, other than the portion of the revenue limit that taxpayers pick up. Every school district is not in that boat. So that would be a Necedah-only advocacy effort. But that's again, April 30th at 6 p.m. here at the school building. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Next, the board will entertain a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85, 1A, C, and F to hold private conference under Wisconsin statute 118.22 to discuss the non-renewal of certified staff members' contracts for layoff and reduction purposes, and to discuss support staff reductions, layoffs, and personnel. The board will remain in closed session to deliberate at the conclusion of a private conference. The board will take action in closed session. At the conclusion of closed session, the board will entertain a motion to reconvene into open session. Therefore, the board will take further action if necessary. We'll then entertain a motion to adjourn. So hear a motion.
I'll make a motion to close session.
I'll second.
Motion by Mr. McNally, second by John Ard to move to closed session. Any discussion? We have a voice vote, Mr. Ard?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes from me. Mr. Duchek?
Yes.
4 yes, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank
everybody.
you, everyone.
Tanya, you will be missed. Thank you for everything.
I left at 8 a.m. Thursday and then I got back at 2 on Monday.